Do you know one of the greatest economic engines in your region? Here's one, and here, of course. The forest has what it takes. Wood replaces imported fuels, which leads to significant value creation and an increase in employment. And how exactly does this happen? To heat with wood, it first needs to be harvested, transported, and processed into fuel or energy. And the forest must be maintained. Let's take a closer look. It takes about 2 hours of forest maintenance to heat a single-family home with locally sourced heat for a year. Another 10 hours of work to log the trees and service the machinery are also necessary. 2 hours to make the wood chips and transport them to the heating plant, and another 2 hours for administration, accounting, and planning. And 7 hours to operate the heating plant and deliver it to the home. This is a total of 23 hours of work. Wood creates jobs and adds value to the region. The foresters, loggers, mechanics, heating plant operators, and employees working in the region also spend their money in the region. No question, the use of oil and gas also adds value. However, the vast majority of this value lies outside of your region, on oil rigs, refineries, docks, in sea transport, and pipelines. Only a small portion of the value stays in your region. In the case of oil-fired heating systems use 3 hours of regional labor, and gas heating amounts to a mere 1.5 hours of regional labor. The regional effects of heat production were studied in detail by the Austrian Energy Agency on behalf of the Austrian Energy and Climate Fund. It used the example of the Hartberg Climate and Energy Region model. Why Hartberg? For one thing, heating with fossil fuels and with renewable energy sources are almost equal, making them easy to compare. The Hartberg region is also well suited as a model region for all of Austria. About half the population lives in urban areas, in multi-family houses and urban apartment buildings, while the other half lives in single-family houses in the country. Summed up, heating with wood creates 31 full-time jobs, while fossil fuels create only 4. With the outflow of money, that is, the money irretrievably lost to the region, it's just the opposite. 7 million euros leave the region each year due to fossil fuels. With biomass energy, Hartberg loses only a fraction of that, about 1 million. And while 31,100 tons of CO2 are produced annually in Hartberg through oil and gas heating, wood and the like only cause 800 tons. These numbers paint a clear picture, but if we take a look at more extreme scenarios, the positive effects of biomass become even clearer. If Hartberg were heated with biomass alone, the number of jobs would increase to 61, and the cash outflow would shrink to 1.6 million euros, and CO2 emissions would fall to 1,600 tons a year. By contrast, if Hartberg were to switch fully to fossil fuels, only 9 jobs would remain. The outflow of purchasing power would rise to a staggering 15 million euros, and annual CO2 emissions would grow to 58,500 tons a year. Money that we spend on fossil fuels fills pockets elsewhere, in faraway places. When we heat with wood, the money stays in the region. It ensures prosperity and a high standard of living for us and our children. And besides all that, wood is cheaper than oil. Good heat grows back. This information has been provided by the Austrian Biomass Association, supported by Austrian federal and state governments and the European Union.